I found this story where it shouldn't have been, and once you hear it, it doesn't let go. I've always been a night owl, so a 24-hour gym membership was a no-brainer for me. I loved the emptiness, the quiet hum of the machines, just me against the weights. It was my sanctuary, or at least it was until I met treadmill number 7. It started subtly. I'd be in the middle of a late-night run, completely alone, and I'd hear it, a faint whirring from the back row of cardio machines. I'd stop, pull out my earbuds, and listen. Silence. I'd shrug it off, thinking it was just the building settling or my mind playing tricks on me after a long day. But it kept happening, always from the same spot, Treadmill 7. One Tuesday night, or I guess technically Wednesday morning since it was almost 2 a.m., I decided to investigate. The gym was dead silent, not a soul in sight. I walked over to the cardio section. All the treadmills were off, their screens dark, all except one. Number 7E's screen was faintly glowing, displaying a single, lonely 0. I thought maybe someone forgot to turn it off properly. I hit the stop button. The screen went black. Problem solved, right? I went back to my workout, but I couldn't shake the feeling I was being watched. I glanced over my shoulder at the row of treadmills, and my heart nearly stopped. The screen on number 7 was on again. This time it wasn't a 0, it was a 1, a single digit blinking slowly in the dim light. 1 what? 1 mile? 1 minute? I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the gym's air conditioning. I packed my bag, deciding to call it a night. As I walked towards the exit, I took one last look back. The number on the screen had changed. It was now a 2. The next night, my curiosity got the better of me. I had to know what was going on. I went straight to treadmill 7. The screen was dark. I hesitantly stepped onto the belt and pressed the quick start button. The belt began to move at a slow, walking pace. Everything seemed normal. I bumped up the speed, getting into a comfortable jog. 1 mile passed, 2 miles. I was starting to feel silly, thinking I'd imagined the whole thing. Then, at exactly the 3-mile mark, the machine took over. The speed suddenly cranked up, way faster than I had set it. The incline shot up to its max. I was practically sprinting uphill, struggling to keep my footing. I frantically hammered the stop button, but it was useless. The screen was frozen, the buttons completely unresponsive. My legs were burning, my lungs were screaming for air. I was trapped, panic set in. I was getting exhausted, stumbling. I knew if I fell, I'd be thrown off the back and could get seriously hurt. The gym was completely empty. No one would hear me. I looked at the display, hoping for any sign of it stopping. The numbers were just a blur. Then I noticed the calories burned display. It was climbing at an insane rate, 400, 500, 600. It kept going up and up, but then I saw something else. On the small digital track display, a little pixelated runner was moving along, and behind it, another one appeared. It was faster, gaining on my little pixel me. I don't know why, but a primal fear washed over me. I had to get away from whatever that was. With a final burst of adrenaline, I took a risk. I grabbed onto the side rails. With all my strength, lifted my feet off the churning belt, and swung myself sideways, landing in a clumsy heap on the floor next to the machine. I lay there, panting, my heart pounding against my ribs like a drum. As soon as my feet left the belt, the treadmill stopped, just like that. The roar of the motor died, the belt slowed to a halt, and the screen went black. Complete silence returned. To the gym. I scrambled to my feet, grabbed my bag, and didn't look back. I sprinted out of that gym and never returned. I canceled my membership the very next day. Sometimes I still wonder about Treadmill 7. Was it just a bizarre malfunction? Or was something else at play that night? I don't have the answer, and honestly, I don't think I want to know. All I know is that I do my running outdoors now, in the daylight, because you never know what's waiting for you in the quiet hours of the night. Thanks for listening to my story. If you have any creepy gym experiences of your own, drop them in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more strange tales. Keep watching. Next story. Locker 17 was never empty. Stay safe out there. She never rented Locker 17, but every single night, her things kept appearing inside it. This is the story of a woman who joined a local gym, hoping to rebuild her life after a painful breakup. She craved routine, discipline, the simple feeling of being normal again. The gym, with its hum of treadmills and clanking weights, seemed like the perfect escape. It was harmless, even comforting at first. But then the strange things started happening. Small things, things you could almost convince yourself you imagined. They all centered around the women's locker room. One day, her towel would be damp before she even started her workout. Another time, her running shoes would be moved from where she left them, placed neatly side by side. In the middle of the aisle, her gym bag, which she always placed in locker 23, would mysteriously end up in locker 17, a locker she had never ever used. She started to feel a creeping sense of unease, like she was being watched. The staff just brushed it off. It's a busy gym, they'd say, probably just another member getting mixed up. But the incidents kept escalating. One evening, after an especially draining spin class, she found her bag in locker 17 again. As she went to pull it out, something caught her eye. Scratched into the cool, gray metal on the inside of the door was her own name. The letters were jagged, desperate, as if carved with a broken nail. A cold dread washed over her. This wasn't a mix-up. This was personal. She showed it to the gym manager, her heart pounding in her chest. He sighed, annoyed. Probably just some kids messing around. A prank, he dismissed, promising to have it painted over. But it never was. From that day on, Locker 17 seemed to take on a life of its own. It was always slightly ajar when she arrived, the door gaping, open just a crack, as if something inside had been waiting for her. Peering out, the locker room, once a place of quiet transition, now felt charged with a hostile energy. She started hearing things, the soft, rhythmic sound of breathing through the ventilation grates when she was completely alone, the faint scuffle of movement just out of sight in a corner of the room that should have been empty. Her sense of being watched intensified into a suffocating certainty. Someone or something was always there. The gym became a place of fear, not healing. Her anxiety grew with every visit. She started checking behind the shower curtains, peering under the benches before she would even set her bag down, and that's how she found it. Tucked away deep behind a wooden bench, almost completely hidden from view, was a small black smartphone. It was old, the screen cracked, and the battery was nearly dead. With trembling fingers, she managed to power it on. The gallery was empty, but she navigated to the recently deleted folder. Her blood ran cold. The folder was filled with recordings, dozens of them, all taken from the changing area, filmed from a low angle, right where the phone had been hidden. The clips were fragmented, shaky, but the subjects were clear. Women changing, unaware. She scrolled frantically, her breath catching in her throat, until she saw a clip of herself. It was from the day before. The feeling of violation was absolute, a physical sickness that churned in her stomach. This wasn't just a prank. This was a stalker. But as she kept digging, the story twisted into something far darker. She found older files buried deep in the phone's memory, recordings that predated her membership by years. The quality was poor, the audio filled with static, but she could make out conversations between other gym members, whispered rumors she hadn't heard before. They spoke of a woman who went missing years ago, a woman who was a regular at this very gym. The last place anyone ever saw her was right here, in this locker room, near locker 17. The police had investigated, but she had vanished without a trace. Suddenly, all the strange occurrences clicked into place, forming a terrifying mosaic. The damp towel, the moved shoes, her name scratched into the door. It felt less like a stalkeress obsession and more like a ghostly echo, a desperate attempt to communicate. The breathing in the vents, the sounds of unseen movement. It wasn't a person she was hearing. The locker room itself felt wrong. It felt alive. The air was thick, heavy, as if saturated with years of fear and sorrow. The privacy nightmare she'd been living was just the surface of a much deeper, older horror. She looked over at locker 17, its door still slightly ajar. It no longer seemed like a simple storage space. It felt like a presence, a focal point for all the room's suffocating wrongness. She imagined the missing woman, her final moments played out in this very spot. She thought about her own things being drawn to that locker, night after night, as if being fed to it. Locker 17 didn't feel like storage anymore. It felt like a mouth that never closes, a mouth that keeps whatever it is fed, and she realized with chilling certainty that it was hungry again. Do you ever feel like you've hit a wall? Like you've given it your all, pushed as hard as you can, and you're just done? That feeling when your muscles are screaming, your lungs are burning, and every fiber of your being is telling you to stop. That's the moment I want to talk about today. Not the first set, not the middle sets, but the last set, that final, defining moment where progress is truly made. It's easy to feel strong on your first set. You're fresh, you're energized, you're ready to go. The weights feel light, the reps are smooth, you're in the zone. Even the middle sets, while tougher, are manageable. You're in a rhythm, you found your groove. But the last set, that's a different beast entirely. Your form starts to wobble, your breath gets ragged, and that little voice in your head starts whispering, just quit, you've done enough. No one will know, but you will know, and that's what matters. The last set is where physical strength meets mental fortitude. It's the ultimate test. It's not just about lifting a weight. It's about lifting yourself up when you feel like you're about to fall. It's about proving to yourself that you are stronger than that voice of doubt. Think about it. In any journey, whether it's in the gym, in your career, or in your personal life, the final stretch is always the hardest. It's when you're most exhausted that the finish line seems furthest away. This is the point where most people give up. They get close. They can almost taste victory, but the fatigue becomes overwhelming and they let go. But the champions, the ones who truly succeed, they do something different. They dig deeper. When your body is screaming no, your mind has to scream yes. This is a skill you cultivate in the gym, but it applies everywhere. The last set teaches you resilience. It teaches you that your limits are often just illusions you've built for yourself. When you push through that final, grueling rep, you're not just building muscle. You're building character. You're forging a will of iron. I remember this one time. I was going for a new personal record on squats. I had done all my warm-ups, my working sets, and it was time for the final, all-out attempt. I got under the bar, and the weight felt immense. It was pressing down on me, physically and mentally. I took a deep breath, braced myself, and descended. The way down was fine, but coming back up, I hit the sticking point, that dreaded spot where everything just stops. My legs were shaking, my vision started to tunnel. The voice of panic screamed, "Drop it. Bail out." Everything in me wanted to give in, but then another thought pushed through. This is it. This is the moment. Push. I let out a roar. I'm pretty sure the whole gym heard me, and I fought that weight, inch by agonizing inch, until I was standing tall. The feeling of racking that weight was indescribable. It wasn't just relief. It was pure triumph. I had faced my absolute limit and I had won. That victory didn't just stay in the gym, it came with me. The next time I faced a huge project at work or a difficult conversation I'd been avoiding, I remembered that squat. I remembered that feeling of pushing through when everything told me to quit, and I found the strength to push through again. That's the magic of the last set. It's a metaphor for life. Life will constantly put you in situations where you feel you have nothing left to give. You'll be tired, you'll be discouraged, you'll be ready to throw in the towel. But if you can learn to love that struggle, to embrace that final push, you become unstoppable. You learn that discomfort is the price of growth. So how do you conquer the last set? It starts before you even touch the weight. It's about your mindset. Don't see it as a chore. See it as an opportunity. This isn't a punishment. It's a privilege. You have the health and ability to push your body, to challenge yourself. That's a gift. Be grateful for it. Next, focus on your breath. When things get tough, our breathing gets shallow and chaotic. Control your breath, and you control your mind. Deep, deliberate breaths can oxygenate your muscles and calm your nervous system, giving you that extra bit of fuel you need to finish strong. Visualize success. Before you start that last set, close your eyes for a second and see yourself completing it. See perfect form, feel the power in your muscles, and imagine the feeling of accomplishment. When you're done, your mind is an incredibly powerful tool. If it believes you can do it, your body is much more likely to follow. And finally, find your why. Why are you here? Why are you putting yourself through this? Is it for your health? For your family? To prove something to yourself? Connect with that deeper reason. When your muscles are failing, your why is what will carry you through. It's the emotional fuel that pure physical energy can't provide. Sometimes you might fail. You might not get that last representative, and that's okay. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. A failed rep on your last set tells you something important. It tells you you've found your current limit, and now you have a new target. You know exactly where you need to get stronger, so you don't get discouraged. You get analytical. You rest, you recover, you eat, you sleep, and you come back next time ready to smash that limit. The last set isn't just about finishing your workout. It's about finishing what you start in all aspects of your life. It's a declaration. It says, I don't quit when I'm tired. I quit when I'm done. It's about building a promise to yourself that you will always give your best, especially when it's hardest. So next time you're in the gym and you're approaching that final set, I want you to change your perspective. Don't dread it. Welcome it. Smile at it. Know that this is where the real work begins. This is where you separate yourself from the person you were yesterday. This is your moment to prove how strong you really are. Attack it. With everything you have, leave it all on the floor. Because the strength you build in that final, gut-wrenching moment is the strength that will define you. Thank you for watching. Go out there and conquer your last set. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next one.